Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. It is Angela, the Traveling Crafter, and today we are on day number 62, which is acrylic paint. So I decided that it has been a very long time since I have busted out my Gelli Plate. Now, before you pop away because you say, I don't have a Gelli Plate, not to worry. We're going to do some things that you can do along with me. But first I'm going to put on my gloves because I still have, I started out warming up my plate without them. And I have all kinds of paint all over me. So we will try not to make a huge mess. But before we get started, if you are new to the channel, welcome and thanks for being here. I love doing paper crafting, thrifting for vintage treasures, all kinds of DIY projects, and of course, traveling. And for those of you who are returning, a huge thank you as well. And thank you for your subscriptions. I just found out the other day during our live sale that I hit 3,000 subscribers. So thank you. That was the goal. So I've met that goal. Now I have to set another one. But what we are going to do is very basic Gelli printing. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, stick around. We're not going to go crazy. We're going to make this really easy. By no means am I a professional. I just like to play. So I should probably get my water bottle out of the way. Hang on. Because I need space. So let's first talk about supplies. What I have is a brayer, a very well-loved brayer. I have acrylic paints. Any kind will do. I've just got this little bucket of them over here. So I'm going to stick to using those colors. If I need more, well, there's a ton behind me. And you're going to need a Gelli plate of some sort, but I'll talk about these in a second. You're also going to need some papers. So I just have some very cheap, this is that ream of paper. This is what I use to Kool-Aid dye. I've got some music page. I've got some book page. I've got a piece of collage. I just grabbed a ton of stuff. Some old scrapbook paper. And I also have, in addition, some, this is, well, it's not really deli paper, but sort of like deli paper. Maybe you could wrap a sandwich in it. And then some glassine. Now the glassine, I'm not so sure this is going to work, but I got it out anyway. But something like this is always nice. Some kind of tissue-ish type of paper. And then I have a variety of things that we are going to use to make designs, which we'll talk about that in just a moment. But let me talk about your Gelli plate just for a second. So Gelli plates are, and like I said, mine, I have this underneath there, so it looks like it's kind of dirty. It's not. It is on this one is on the side. So they come in different sizes. These are the small ones. On occasion, I will use this small one just to make little tags, but I also use it if I want to do something where I want to put my, instead of putting my paint directly here, if I want, I can put some here. I also have some just scratch pieces of paper that I will use to clean off my brayer. And that's all you need. Now, I want to tell you that if you don't have a Gelli plate and you want to play with your acrylic paints, you know, get out a piece of wallpaper or a piece of parchment and you can put your paints on there. You can, you know, do what we're going to do in a second. But if simply you're just kind of brayering off, you know, paint and then putting it on here like this, look how beautiful these are. Now, these two were my clean off sheets and I liked them just like this. And so I think I'm going to use them for something and maybe we'll layer them up. But if you don't have a Gelli plate, you can still make designs on your scrapbook paper, your book page, whatever you wish by just brayering it right on. So you got that option. So let's just start extremely simple on what you do. And we'll just do a couple of colors. I also have, oh, no, no. Here, hang on. Let me move these out of the way. It's a little tight in here. I've got all kinds of sheets laid out around the perimeter for me to dry on, which the nice part about acrylic paints is that they dry pretty fast. You know, I've really been into the pink and the orange. Let's do yellow. Now, I turned my Gelli Plate horizontally so that it would be a little bit easier for you guys to see. It doesn't really matter which way, but you're just going to put a little bit of paint on. That might be a little too much. And this is, I don't even think I've used this one. It's called Azalea, but it's patio paint. So like I said, I wanted to use some of these that were a little different so that you can see. One is Apple Barrel Multi-Surface Surface. And that is probably from, well, I'm guessing it was from when I bought from that Living Estate sale from that gal, because I bought those 2 racks of acrylic paints. All right, so what you're going to do is I'm just going to start at the top here, and you're just going to kind of, you're going to push and lift. Now, I really do need a smaller brayer, but I don't have one, so we're just going to move with this. And then I'm going to kind of blend these two together. And then I'm going to brayer this off a little bit so the pink doesn't quite get. And just kind of blend it that way, and then I'll see. But look, just doing that, you're starting to build some kind of cool colors. Okay. And this is going to be really light, and for this particular one, because we're just getting the gist of it. You place your piece of paper on, and then now that I have these gloves on, my hand doesn't slide across the paper quite as easily. So I'm just using I call it my puck. And you just kind of press it down and then pull it back up. And here's the cool part. This is was pretty thin, on there pretty thin. But I had warmed this up and done a couple of pulls before we started the video. And so some of that green is still on there, which I like. If you don't like that, then you want to make sure you clean off your plate very well in between. I'm kind of in the mindset of, why not? It's, you know, it's pretty. And if you don't, then you take your, I'm just going to leave mine for now, but then you just take a wet wipe, or you can take hand sanitizer and just clean it off. All right, let's do some more colors. Look at all this stuff. We're going to play with this. Make some designs. But first, we're just going to try a couple of different, oh, here, let's try, what's this? This is gold. I don't know. That looks like it's probably from the Dollar Tree. And gold, and what other color? Let's try this kind of, it's called leaf green. It looks more avocado green to me. But I'm thinking, if it turns out, perhaps we can use it in one of the cookbook journals, the 70s one. So let's make this one just a little bit thicker. We're just going to do, I mean, you could just do one color. We're going to try the 2. Oh, this one's not even open. Hang on. I think I have another color. This is matte metallic. So hope you guys are all having a fun day. You know what I'm going to do instead? Make sure that's nice and brayered off. There we go. I'm going to do this first. Ooh, yes, this does look very retro. now let's put a little bit of gold. That's a lot of gold. See how it looks. And maybe you just go over the top there to give it a little shimmer and glimmer. See, now some of them are going to not look very good, but you know what? We'll use some more colors and maybe they will. All right, and then you're just going to pop this on here. Now, here's something to remember. Actually, let's pull this, and then I'll explain to you. On that last, you could also use this to kind of press that down. On that last one, where it pulled this green, one thing to remember is the first thing that you put on is the part that's going to show at the forefront of whatever piece you're doing. Does that make sense? So if let's just say, ooh, that's cool. Nice. All right, let's just do one. Let's try putting down some really light blue. I should probably make this a little bit, use up more of my paper. I'm being chintzy. Okay, that's nice and braided up. The other thing is, when you're doing this, do you see how I'm pushing and lifting, pushing and lifting? Now, this is a Speedball brayer, so it's not a cheap one, but sometimes, I don't know, it's just, I've had it for a bajillion years. Yeah, I probably have too much on there. So let's get a lot of that off so that it will dry quickly. And you're just doing that by lifting it up off of, okay, that one needs to go over here. All right, that's pretty good. Now, why don't we try doing a little bit of mark making? So perhaps I'm just going to press that down. And because this is a small stencil, I'm going to kind of do this. You just want to make sure it kind of sucks to your Gelli Plate. I had my words weren't coming to me. And then maybe we'll also mix in just to break up those edges. This is a hot pad, I believe. Little honeycomb things. And then why not, let's see. I've got some bubble wrap. Well used and well loved bubble wrap as well. Just to kind of take some of those edges off. All right. Now let's let that dry for a second. And while that happens, let's take a look at some of the ones that I have that I've done in the past. Now I have a stack of icky ones too somewhere. Yes, let me show you those first. The icky, when I say icky, it's because these were all of my pages that I can I not think? That I used to clean off my brayer. So right now, a lot of them are pretty hideous. That one's, yep, that's it. This one was a second, I don't know what this was. Maybe this was one I tried and I didn't like. But you can see there's some stencil roses on that one. I pulled this one up after a couple others. You can see this had been laying down on the Gelli Plate first. So there's a little bit of that on there. There's this one, but they're just kind of one-dimensional. They're not really, this is horrific. But I bet we can make it beautiful. This might have been one that I did, and this was not a... What? No, now we're getting into the ones that I actually did. So that one, this one I don't like at the moment. This one was also, I had got too much paint, and so I just kind of put it on with my brayer. So that would be an example of how you can use your, just a brayer. This one, again, I didn't really care for. Maybe these are all my rejects. This one I think has potential, as does this one. Okay, so those are all the rejects. Where are all the good ones? Oh, here we go. Here we go. So we'll put those underneath here, and we might play with a couple of those too. These two, like I said, I really like those. And here are some. These are also, I just, every single time I was doing something, I had some of this page, and I just would lift them up. So those are something we can work with as well. Not gorgeous, but I love this one. And sometimes, I mean, I don't watch a lot of jelly plating videos, but I know that some people just keep layering it up and layering up. And for me, sometimes when I see a color combination or palette, I just stop. Because this to me is something that then I can find a place for in my journals, and then I can decide what I want to do with it. But each to their own. This one is a second pull from a stencil. I have that stencil pulled out. This one is a second pull from a stencil. This was the first pull. And then that was basically the reverse. I love these. This is just a very basic one. I think I was kind of thinking that might go into that journal as well. This is, whoa, this is also a, nope, I did this on purpose. So when you saw me pushing and lifting, this is kind of the thing that happens first before you kind of smooth it out. And I liked that. So I had done a couple pulls and then added this very loosely, and then just put that at the last layer. And then this one is for my blue ribbon cookbook, and this is just very fragile paper, but you can at least get the idea. And what do I have over here? Oh, some of these that I did, they should be dry. They were not very pretty, and they still aren't, but I want to show you. I think I've talked long enough for that to be dry. This, you could see the words through it. It wasn't, I mean, it was one of the clean off pages. This one was just the orange and the green, and it was only here or there, so I used a stamp. I pulled that one out too as a second layer just to see what would happen. And still, I'm not really satisfied with them. This one I just tried a couple different stencils. This is actually that. And this one, ugh. It looks like those Good and Plenty's. I don't know, but so that was second layer from the first. Ooh, I don't like it. Like it one. Now look at this. I love just the way this is. There's a few little letters that you can see on this, but this is an example of I could do the same thing on the other side. And then that's just just enough on my page that, you know, it's not dyed, but it's perfect for one of the pages in my signatures. Okay, so let's do another one. Now, this should be dry by now. So what we're going to do is we're going to put another color on the back. So, what color do we want? I'm looking around at the colors that I've been doing, and I don't have a lot. I haven't been doing a lot of primary colors. This is called watermelon. I don't know if this is a real shot in the dark. I should probably put this over here and see what it is. It's a different color combination, isn't it? I think, well, I'll just do this here so you can see how you can, your opportunities there. Get some on there. And this way, we'll get a thinner pull on this. I don't mean pull. We'll get a thinner layer. And do I want this to totally... I don't think I want it to cover it all, do I? No. I want some of it to peek through. All right, let's let that dry. And let's clean off this. And see what happens here. I'm letting this dry in between because we'll do one more coat. And maybe what we need to do while this is drying is decide what that's going to be. Here's what it looked, well, you can see what it looks like, but there's what it looks like on book page. You know, I wonder if we did white as the last coat, and then I use a piece of black paper, because I think I have a couple pieces of black over there. I don't know what kind of paper it is. Now, talking about paper, the cheaper the paper, the better, to be really honest. Oh, those are little pieces. Well, all right, we'll try this on something else, because these are little. I thought I had bigger ones. Yeah, for me, this paper that was from that ream works wonderfully. It's not, you know, I got it at a thrift store, a whole box of it. So it works great. So if you're playing with this, I mean, scratch paper, anything will work. Let's do, all right, this is crazy. Oh, that's not going to be contrast enough. I'm thinking I could do a purpley color, because you know that's usually not, well, heck, that hasn't even been opened. It's hard for me to open these with my gloves on. Here's one that's open. We're gonna do the same thing and use this. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can. I got a new phone. One thing I notice is the speaker works excellent. And the other thing is that, and the vibrancy of the photos and video are great. But I have that screen protector I told you about that is supposed to be a privacy one that Demi accidentally bought. Oh, this is still wet. Well, we're just going to go for it anyway. I don't know what will happen. I'll be very gentle. So when I try to see what you guys are seeing, I can't. I have to get up on my chair, which is not fun. Oops, see it? That was a little, some of that was already dry, so it pulled it up. But I'm sure it's going to be pretty. I think, for the sake of time, we're just going to do this and see what happens. Now, like I said, this is just beginner basics. If you've never done this, follow my lead. Just play. There are no rules, as I always say. And here's the interesting thing about this. If you go in with a really good plan and say, this is what I want to have happen, you're going to be very, very disappointed, because I never have got, I mean, on the other hand, if you just say, oh, it's going to be like a surprise, like unwrapping a present every single time I do another pull, then you'll just have a ball with it. It will be so much fun. Okay, so here's what's happening. All right, we're okay. We're okay, kids. Oh, yeah. All right. So as you can see, I put down the blue first, and then when I started layering, you can see that, I put down, what did I put down? Watermelon first? Anyway, you can see that the red is kind of, this is kind of blended in between it. But I like that. I like that one a lot. Okay, now we got a whole bunch of stuff on here. I have an idea. Now, please do not, we are experimenting. I do not know what's going to happen. We are going to use black paint. Somewhere here I have, oh no, do I have it? I pulled a picture from, here it is, a picture from a magazine. I've always wanted to do this. Now, if you have a laser printer, you can also use just an image that you've printed out. I don't have an image or a laser printer. I did try it. I know people have said you can use it with your inkjet. It did not work for me. But look at that tiger giving her attitude. If you have magazines, I'm not sure what this came from. Probably Bazaar, or so I don't know how well this will work. I've heard that Vogue magazine works really well. Find an image like this that has high contrast. So a lot of black, a lot of white. And we're going to try to do a transfer pull from this. We're going to leave what we've got here on the plate. And I really don't know what I'm doing. So let's just start by saying that. I need some black paint, though. Here we go. I hope this is black. So I'm just going to put this on. And I do want this to be kind of opaque, if you will. So I want to be able to almost see that plate through, and those other colors through this black paint. So that's why there's not very much on it. I might need more than this. But do you see how you can kind of see through it? That's what we want to get to. I'm going to add some more. See what happens. This will be as surprising to me as it is to you. So we'll see what happens. And I've seen people who Gelli Plate a lot do this and have absolute fails with it. So it's just hit or miss. You don't know. And that's okay. I feel like I need more black in there, because that's going to be like right where her face is. See if I can. You got to move a little bit fast. That's, that's the only problem. Okay, let's just go with it. So we're going to put this down. I'm going to use this. And I'm not doing this really hard. Now, I don't know, but I believe, you know, the longer you kind of let it sit on there, the better. But again, let's not take Angela's word for it, because this is experimentation. Here we go. Now, I can probably, I don't know. I don't know. I'm nervous. Oh, maybe. Oh, I don't think so. I see a shoulder. Okay, I see kind of a face. It's not fabulous. Maybe it needed to be on there longer. Well, too late now, right? All right, can you see this is her hair? The rest of it's probably not going to come up. She was so cute, and that lion was so cute. But we'll give it a second here. Let's clean off this. My sponge is getting disgusting. If you're cleaning your plate with something wet in between, then make sure it's completely dry before you start doing more pulls. look at this. Sometimes people also say you can do more than one, but I don't know about that. Look at her eyes. See, her eyes, we're not even going to be able to see. Okay. Let's just, for the sake of doing this, let's use white. I don't know that this is totally dry. The only other thing that I can tell you about doing this is patience is a good thing, one of which I have to really work on. And when I'm doing this kind of stuff, I have none. Because I'm like, I want to see what happens to it. See, it already moved that black, I think. Well, we might just end up with a big black and white blob, but that's fine. If you really want to know how to do this from the experts, then just put it in the search bar and then you can see how to do it. But I am certainly not the expert on this. But I do like to experiment. So I'm a little weird when I do these, the clean off sheets. If I see that, okay, I kind of like the colors on it and I don't want it to go much farther, then I'll stop. By the way, I think this, it looks like that, whatever I just used, has glitter in it. I don't know. Let's see what happens here. In the perfect world, that image would come over in the reverse. Now, one thing that we're going to try in a second, we'll do some more stencils, and I'll use that. I have a bigger one. Oh, boy. Hey, this is real TV. Yep, no. You can see where it was, but it's pretty much disgusting. Okay, let's just clean that off. Let's just grab another. Yeah, let's just try to clean this all off. You never know. Sometimes, maybe I had still too much paint on it. I've seen some really cool ones. Some done with laser images from, you know, their printer, but like I said, I don't have that. So this is also called a ghost print. Now see, you can kind of see her. Can you see her? She does not look anything like the picture, but you can kind of see her in there. Oh, that's kind of freaky. That really literally is like a ghost print, isn't it? All right, honey, you're gonna go to the garbage. I'm sorry. Sorry, but we're done with you. You also probably noticed that I'm not pulling off a lot of, I'm not wiping off the primary plate. I was looking to see if I had, I sometimes use like just rando pieces of cardstock like I showed you. I guess I don't have any. Okay, let's try this one. So here's what we're going to do. You know what we might do? We might use, let's do this. Let's put down a color and let's kind of give it. Actually, I will show you, much like what I was talking about that you can do without a Gelli plate, is just add some depth to, I mean, this isn't terribly ugly, but it's probably one I wouldn't use. Oh, we're just going to add some random colors. Now, so this is what you can do instead of Gelli plating. I love it when I have gloves on and I can just get dirty, because I don't like it when and then the paint gets in my nails and I can't get it out. And so you see how you're almost making like a abstract, or even, you know, you can make it kind of look like kind of layered watercolors as well. And we're just It's just something that you can do. It's very cathartic. You don't have to have a Gelli plate. You can just you let one dry. There's a good example of that. See? And you're rolling and lifting, rolling and lifting. All right, so I've knocked that down just a smidgy. I feel like we need to do a little bit more to it before we use this. And I see that I've never used this keyhole one. I limited myself to colors, and so, you know, that's a good thing and it's a bad thing, but I think we're going to use this one to do the pull on it. Let's do some white, and we'll make it look a little like we've laid down maybe some white gesso or some modeling paste. This might need to dry a little bit before we can do that. Before we can do that on here. I'm going to stop because it's getting a little bit wet. So we'll put this aside. And we'll do I'm going to just do a couple more with you. Okay, let me just do a solid color. So you can see a solid color with a little bit of that white that I'm not worried about, but we're going to use it up. Oh, ick. Big goober. Come on. Yeah. Well, that's disgusting. There we go. So will I do that transfer? I love the way it looks when it comes out. Make sure you don't get any little pieces on there. But I don't know that I have the patience. All right, so here's what you can do with your stencils. So you can put this down, and you can do a couple of things. Oh, Demi's up, so we'll see what happens. So see how that's kind of just sucking down onto the plate? You can kind of see the different colors. This is why I said you could use, now you could just use a regular piece of paper, but if you really want what we're going to do next to be very succinct, you can put this on top, and this will be good so you can see. And then you want to make sure that this is kind of all, and this one you have to be a little more slow at. Make sure you get everything kind of down. But see, this I think we could make some little bags with whatever's going to pull from this. All right, I think that's good enough for this example. I don't know, but there we go. All right, so that's what we got from there. All right. Put that over here. Now, let's pull this up. And at which point I would, I didn't get down there. I would clean that off, but for this one, we're not. Now, let's just try this for fun, because it kind of fits like right on there. Ruby wants to play with Zenny. Of course, Zenny's like, stay away. Ooh. Let's see. Oh, that's cool because it's got the, and that middle part is not doing so great, but that's okay. I like it. Now, this is probably pretty dry now. So what if we put a little white over the top? I'm just testing it to see if it's dry. I think so. I'll just try to be very, very careful. I think I just need to go right on there. There we go. Oh my goodness, that dog. Can you hear her? She's going up the stairs, down the stairs, up the stairs, down the stairs. Let's see what happens. So remember, what will be the back layer will be the white, and the turquoise should come to the forefront. We hope. I do have 2 of these, and I should be using one just for this and one for other things, but that could be cool in the future. But look at how many pulls I'm getting just off of this. Let's do one more, because see, that was like a textured linen. Let's just pop some purple on top of it and do one more pull. See what we get. And what I do, so you're probably wondering, well, what do you do with these? I do use them. I, cut them down to size. I use them for backgrounds. I do all kinds of things with them. But if I have like a whole pile of them, like I just showed you, then sometimes I have a, in my closet, I just have a spot for all my mixed media kind of things. And so I just put those pages up there. And then when when the spirit moves me. Now, I am putting quite a bit of pressure on this because I want to get as much pulled up as possible. I'm going to show you one more thing with, well, I need to see how long we've been going. With stamps. And then let me look and see how much. Oh, yeah. See, and this might be the coolest one of all of them. So I pulled up all those other colors. Love it. All right, let's see how long we've been going. If I can see here. Yep, I'll just show you one more. We're almost out of time. I really wanted to show you. Because I haven't, oh yeah, I did try this, but that was kind of like that. Let's do this. Okay? We're just going to see what happens. And what we're going to do is a really light coat. We're going to put it down in white. Now, remember, if you're using a stencil that has words on it, and you're looking at it and it says, I love you to the moon and back, or whatever. If you're going to want it to come out on your plate correctly, so you can see the words, you're going to have to flip it over so they're opposite and reverse to you. Does that make sense? With this one, these are just... it's just cursive writing. So my thought is, I don't really care. I'm just going to stamp on it. And we're just using it for a background. So I'm going this way just because I can get more in it. So there's what it looks like. And now I want to clean this off. Do I have any edges left of this? So I'm just quickly wiping it off because this acrylic paint, as you know, dries pretty quick. And then I'm just taking it with my wet wipe too. Okay. Do you see that too? We can do the reverse of that. So I'll show you. here it is. That's my stool underneath there, sorry. Oh, it's smoothie time. All right, here we go. We're gonna pull this up and you get that look. Okay, now let's do a little bit of this. Well, here, let's just pull this up. That's what we're going for, but I'm just using this to pick up all this. There we go. Now we can keep working on that and turn it into tags. So now on this one, oops, it might be too wet. Here, let's use this one. This one says, art washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life. Now, again, is it going to be backwards? Yes, but that's okay. Oh, actually, if I do it this way, let's see what happens. I'm just going to do it right in the middle. I'm going to do it twice. And then let's just use this. For an example, but like I said, I've just touched the surface. I am by no means an expert. See, now it's backwards, but who cares, right? It's still cool. It's just going to be a background piece. But this was the prompt today, and why not, you know, give you guys a little push to try something with some acrylic paints, a little mixed media-ish, and have some fun. There you go. So now we can cut those up. I can add things to it, and it's a nice little background. But, you know, these are all a work in progress. So you just keep on adding and adding and adding to them. And soon you will have some fun things. So we've got that. Bye, sweetie. Some things to build upon. And truthfully, in my opinion, this could be something you could do all day long. Bye, sweetie. I said bye. You just couldn't hear me. I love you. We got all kinds of options to play with. So maybe we'll put these aside and we'll come back and we'll use all of those that I had done in the past and then play with those on another occasion. So I hope you have a great day. I hope you had a little bit of fun. And until next time, friends, remember to take time to just be. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.